So I have a little bit of a confession. I know this is going to sound very crazy for a lot of people because I don't think that this is a fear that a lot of people have, but I'm really, really afraid of success. And I know that sounds wild because most people are afraid of failing, but I've seen what success does, like in family dynamics, and I've seen what that looks like to lose friends and lose family and lose people because they think you've changed because you've succeeded at something. And I think as a kid, I internalized that and knew I needed to succeed, obviously, because I was an overachiever and I felt like that's where my value came from success. But I also knew that I shouldn't be too successful to a point where no one else is doing what I'm doing, because I knew that it would cost me friendships, it would cost me like relationships with people, it would cost me trust. I knew there was a cost associated with that. And now as an adult, I look at it and I'm like, I don't celebrate my successes because I'm afraid that it comes off as bragging. But then I sabotage my success too, because when I realize that I'm becoming too successful at something or I'm doing really well at something, in my mind, I go to feeling afraid that I'll lose things. Obviously, I think I'm a pretty confident person. I believe I'm really talented at a lot of things. I'm really good with my hands. I'm a very artsy person. I'm a very adaptable person. I have a very entrepreneurial knack in me. I think having parents that were entrepreneurs and growing up around a lot of entrepreneurship really, maybe not even consciously, but subconsciously, really built an entrepreneur in me. And that's amazing. And those qualities are great. And I've started a lot of things and a lot of businesses and done really well at them. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had a hair company in my first year of university, did really, really well. And then I decided it was going too well and I decided I'm not going to market anymore. I ended up closing down the business, not because I didn't have customers, but because I was worried. And I started doing things that caused me to listen. If you want to know the real gist, go to my podcast, Afado Productions podcast. It's available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, anywhere where you find podcasts, you'll find it. SoundCloud, wherever. I have a podcast talking about failure in business or something like that. And I got into debt because of that business failing. And it was my fault 100%. There's no one else that could have been blamed. It was just me. Then I started my production company. And I started that in first year as well. And anytime I get to a point where I'm getting booked, I'm getting clients, I'm getting interviewed, I retreat and again go through that period of self-sabotage where I start doing things that cause the business to get fucked up. And now I haven't posted in maybe 9 months, 8 or 9 months. And it's not that I don't have content. I literally have a hard drive, like a 2 terabyte hard drive of content, of vlogs, of podcasts, of show ideas, of blogs. I have all of that chilling. I'm just afraid that if I post on a regular basis, it'll change me and change everything around me. And I'm not ready for that. And even now, I'm recording all of this on my phone because I've given one of my friends my camera. And I'm realizing I'm going to have to get back to where I was in first year, where I was so hungry to create content. I was creating on my phone. I was recording my podcast on my phone. That's where I was. I was editing on my phone. And I was doing it at work. I was doing it in my car. Oh, I got my car, you guys. Hallelujah. And even that, I have a whole story time ready coming because it was an actual nightmare getting my car here. But you know what? I'm grateful. God is so faithful. I'm so happy to have my car here. I say this to say I'm really happy with where I'm at, But I'm realizing that for me, a big challenge and a big thing that a big obstacle I'm going to have to face now going forward is being okay with being successful and being okay with changes that might happen when you become successful, and not framing those changes as a bad thing, and not assuming that changes will happen because they might not happen. So I'm kind of trying to find a balance. I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I know there are things that I might be afraid of failing, and that stops me, and I might have imposter syndrome about some things. But honestly, my biggest fear when making big decisions and things that affect my bag and affect my future is, am I doing something that's so unrelatable that when this thing becomes successful, because listen, the God I serve, okay, he finna make a way where there's no way. So I'm not so worried about failure that it like stops me in my tracks. I'm more worried about that thing succeeding and changing everything. That's what paralyzes me and stops me in my tracks. So I don't have a solution yet. I don't have an answer yet. I literally, you guys can see, I just woke up and I was sitting here thinking like, what's going on with you? What's the divide? What's happening? Like, you know how to do this. You have the tools, you have the capacity. You don't even have to shoot any more new content. I have content from 2020. I have content from January to December 2020, January to December 2021, January to December 2022. Even if I didn't create any content at all next year, I could post every week and not have to make any new content at all. The whole year, that's how much content I have on both channels. So I just need to get out of my head about, I need to unlearn the things I've learned about success from when I was younger. And this is why I'm really thinking that one of my goals this year is to really get serious into therapy and really actually like get an opportunity to unlearn some of these habits and unlearn some of these mindsets and really think through. Because part of the reason why I started a podcast and why I started like creating content on YouTube was because I realized that for me, I process things better when I have conversations with other people or with myself. I know that sounds crazy. When I write it down on a piece of paper, I'm able to have that conversation with myself. I'm able to have introspection when I'm able to have a conversation. And this allows me to have a conversation and allow me to detach myself from the experience so that I'm able to have a clearer vision of what I'm doing good and what I'm doing bad. Because I've realized that for me, it helps having that like detachment to be able to be like, okay, these are the actual feelings. These are the actual facts. How do we find a way to validate your feelings, but also acknowledge that there are real facts that are there, and sometimes you're overthinking the real facts. Anyways, I'm going to a topic I didn't want to really get into. I just wanted to say that I think for me, I'm realizing that my biggest challenge is the fear of success and the change that comes from success. Maybe not the fear of succeeding at the thing itself, because I think in my mind, at the back of my mind, I'm always like, what's for me is for me and what's not for me is not for me. It might hurt in that moment, but I'm not afraid of failing. I think also because everybody fails, and so people know how to console you when you fail. But when you succeed and you don't know how to deal with that success, people don't know how to deal with you. It's like you're being ungrateful or you're being spoiled, when in reality you still have issues. You are succeeding, but you have issues. Anyways, chat, I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I don't have a solution, so if you have solutions, please comment them below. But if anything, tell me if you feel the same, if you've ever felt the same, if you think I'm crazy feeling that way. We're having a healthy conversation. This is a safe space. I will not tolerate any slander, any fuckery. Yes, I said it. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let's talk. This is a safe space. Let's keep it a safe space. And I will put in our description what I mean when I say safe space so that everybody's on the same page. We're gonna have iPhone quality content for a while. And then we'll get equipment when we are ready to be serious. Because I feel like right now I'm not ready to be serious, and it doesn't make sense for me to invest money in something that I'm not being serious about, especially after buying essentially. Anyways, bye guys.